Can someone tell me what animal this is?
Welcome to a new video on NEGAYO's channel. Today we're going to talk about this movie titled Batman Gotham Knight. A story set during the Vigilante's early days, between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight by Christopher Nolan. It's a collection of interconnected short films with different animation styles, plots and designs that cover many of those themes, exploring the motivation, perception and psychology behind the Gotham City legend. Let's begin, and I'll share a quick personal opinion at the end of the video. Sound good?
No.
Also, remember to join my YouTube live streams every Saturday. We talk about anything really, but if you stop by to say hi in the live chat, that already helps me a lot, right? The first of these stories is about a group of friends who meet up at a skate park. Each of them, except for this one, who kind of looks like me, has a story to tell the rest. Interestingly, they all relate to the mythical Dark Knight now roaming Gotham's darkness. The first child encountered a dark, terrifying figure. He was frozen until a mysterious creature suddenly appeared to attack him.
Is he hallucinating? Batman isn't a shadow. This story is nonsense.
After a blinding flash, this enemy managed to escape, while Batman also disappeared into the shadows, continuing his search. This redhead also claims to have seen the Bat chasing the same person through the city streets. She called him a giant animal, able to fight at great heights and save civilians in danger. Although this girl was making up that Batman decapitated his enemy, I find it quite striking that at this point, the people who are convinced of the Vigilante's existence are already fully aware of that famous rule about not killing.
I'm making it more colorful.
The Bat dodged the bullets and tossed his enemy into the river. The boys don't believe that Batman is actually a giant beast, but what they do agree on is that the stories of these two are connected. The third of these skaters claims that it's neither a beast nor a living shadow, but rather a robot that's indestructible. He was atop a building when the battle started between the two. As a thief, he planned to rob the civilians there. However, as was becoming a habit, Batman appeared, jumping from a helicopter to stop his opponent. You know what's curious? We never saw Christian Bale use a helicopter like this. His only flying vehicle wouldn't appear until The Dark Knight Rises. Let's set these details aside so we don't interrupt the story. The boy described Batman as a kind of super advanced machine that could withstand bullets and shoot laser beams. The criminal fell from above and activated his rocket backpack. This is where the story connects with the tale of the red-haired girl and the account of the first boy. Since Batman kept chasing the thief thanks to the 3-kilometer jumps he was making. These kids with their perception of reality so distorted.
Damn, I missed the whole
Action. The best part was still ahead. Right here, the fight between these two would end. The smoke would obscure most of these events, but it was clear that it was the thief and the vigilante. The boy's room, the one that had never seen Batman in action, managed to save his life by knocking out the criminal. Imagine that, I don't think he'll ever forget it in his life.
Good job, kid. Looks like I owe you one.
Batman thanked him for the favor and vanished into the smoke, leaving a great story to tell. After Batman suddenly appeared in the city, rumors spread that he was working with Lieutenant Jim Gordon to clean up Gotham. Detective Chris Allen faces this problem in the Major Crimes Unit. That's because he disapproves of the Vigilante's methods. When he and Ana Ramirez, the traitor, are summoned to Gordon's office, he assigns them the task of taking this guy, named Jacob Philly, the man in black whom Batman had captured in the previous story, to Arkham. Although Ana immediately agrees to Gordon's orders, Allen can't keep quiet and confronts his boss about what he thinks of the vigilante.
That's called trust, Detective, something that's been in short supply in this city lately. Is it the same on the road?
To the asylum, Chris calls Batman a renegade who acts above the law, while Ana defends him, saying the city's better because of the hero. Apparently, the Bat had been helping capture the Arkham fugitives who were released after Ra's al Ghul's attack. Chris didn't like that the department was connected to Batman, even on the way back. He mentions that he's about to quit the unit since he doesn't want to be reduced to a mere messenger for an outlaw. Hearing this, Ramirez suddenly pulls off the road to tell his partner how that renegade changed things here forever. Since she was born in Gotham, she notices the difference better than he does. Unfortunately, Ana picked a bad parking spot. A meeting happened here, and they ended up caught between the Russian and Maroni mafias during a war. And when things were about to get even worse, that's when she saw him.
Arrival of 3-minute Resolute, sir.
In 3 minutes, we'll be dead.
Batman took care of these criminals. In a matter of seconds, Maroni felt lucky to be able to take the detective as a hostage. But with each step, the knight felt a deep fear invade his body. The bat disarmed the mobster in a blink. The detectives were safe and the vigilante left, acknowledging the courage of both officers.
The lieutenant knows how to choose his people.
As was already made clear in Christopher Nolan's trilogy, Lucius Fox is that intelligent man capable of creating all kinds of resources for Batman. Electric cars, motorcycles, planes, gliders, bulletproof materials, though not dogproof, and armor with a movable neck. This time, he had the great idea to apply satellite technology to the Batsuit, technology that would deflect bullets and keep the vigilante safe.
If someone pulls out a rifle,
You better duck.
why would anyone want to shoot me, Mr. Fox?
A billionaire guy named Ronald Marshall had promised to rebuild part of Gotham City, and of course he started with a golf course. Bruce Wayne met him as he kept mentioning that odd strategy. He also accuses him of being involved in the death of a protest leader who opposed his construction on this site. The man clearly had selfish motives. Instead of helping the city, he built facilities only other billionaires could afford. No matter what happens to the people who already live in this part of the city, yes. With the help of Fox's technology, Bruce can distract this man to steal information from him. At night, we meet Maroni and the Russian again, about to face off in a shootout. The Dark Knight defeated all criminals, captured the bosses, and forced them to make a deal as he gathered evidence to lock them up in Blackgate. At that moment, a man shot at the bat. The bullet was deflected, injuring another one of the criminals. Batman immediately took the boy to the hospital. When he returns to Lucius the next day, Bruce decides to return this technology, making clear that key philosophy that is part of everything Batman is.
I'm willing to risk my life for what I must do, but it has to be my choice, not someone else's.
Gordon and his unit were investigating a string of kidnappings. The responsible person was described as a beast nearly 2 meters tall, known as Killer Croc. Apparently, the victims were taken deep into the sewers. Batman and the lieutenant agreed this case centered on Dr. Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow. Remember, he has been on the loose since Ra's al Ghul's attack that night. The Bat descended into the abyss, ready to face that urban legend that was circulating through the streets. The evidence seemed to prove that this enormous lizard man really existed. Even the homeless claimed to have seen him and knew his story. According to their words, he was a person who was thrown into the sewers as just a baby because his mother didn't want him. The waste changed him, making him stronger than anyone. According to Gordon's investigations, that killer crocodile had a name, Waylon Jones, a former inmate of Arkham who took part in some experiments by Jonathan Crane to eliminate phobias.
Do you know what phobia Dr. Crane wanted to cure? The fear of bats.
The monster's bite infected the bat with fear toxin, but even with hallucinations, he wasn't stopped. During his search, Crane judged and sentenced the kidnapped people to death. Before Gordon's team arrived, Batman faced a small army of homeless people. The explosion caused by the vigilante was more than enough to apparently bury Scarecrow and his men. At this site, Batman rescues the last kidnapped person alive. After handing them to Gordon, he disappears, flying through darkness and Gotham. Working with pain is part of Bruce Wayne's quest for knowledge before he returns to Gotham. When he was still traveling the world, he met a woman named Cassandra who lived on the outskirts of the city. In her childhood, she had to disguise herself as a boy in order to learn from the fakirs of the village. After she was discovered, her family abandoned her. Locals mistreated her and labeled her a witch. Bruce came to her to find a way to ease the pain he lives with. Cassandra agreed and for a time shared everything she knew with him to help control it physically and emotionally. Everything he learned from her would help him bear the enormous burden of carrying the mantle of the Bat. And the thing is, despite the great feats people talk about, sometimes it's easy to forget that this vigilante is still human. One who can be hurt and in the worst case could one day be defeated. Does that hurt?
Cassandra?
Is like being trapped in the rain, a nuisance.
Does it leave a scar?
Bruno?
What pain doesn't?
This phase of Bruce's learning ended. One night, a group of young people showed up in front of Cassandra's home ready to beat her up. Supposedly, they were upset with her for teaching an outsider knowledge that belonged only to the locals. Despite Cassandra's pleas, Bruce stepped in, leaving the thugs on the ground. Bruce's intentions had been good, but she realized then that nothing she could teach this man would help him extinguish the pain that consumed him. Cassandra forced him to leave, and from then on Bruce would continue on his path until he became that famous legend of Gotham City.
I failed you. Your pain is leading you down the path you desire.
Sir, give me your hand. No!
I can't.
This is the story of a Bruce Wayne even more handsome than Gumball, Squidward, Brad Pitt, and nearly as handsome as Henry Cavill. Impossible. Deadshot is another one of those characters who didn't get any mention or appearance in Nolan's saga. But I think we all agree that he had enormous potential if he had ever been adapted in this vision. Is everyone satisfied? Yes, but the champagne glass.
Is too much?
Don't you think? We're talking about probably the best assassin in the world, one who was hired to carry out a big hit in Gotham City. According to leaked information, the target was Police Lieutenant James Gordon. His unit stayed alert for attacks, and Batman joined the case to stop Deadshot. The police unit's route coincided with the city's train route. It was surprising the killer would try to achieve his goal from there, but that's what happened. Fortunately, the Dark Knight managed to stop that bullet, and this is where we discover that this was the mercenary's plan. His goal wasn't to go after Gordon, but after Batman himself. The battle on the train left the Bat seriously injured, but despite the huge disadvantage, Floyd Lawton was captured. The media reported the next day about the vigilante's alleged involvement in the arrest of this mercenary. Remember Ronald Marshall from the golf course? It was thanks to Bruce stealing his electronic organizer earlier. This served as evidence to link him as one of Deadshot's frequent clients, paying him to eliminate those who stood in his way. The news also mentions that if they are found guilty, both would face the death penalty, which would explain quite well why neither of them appears again in the future. After the confrontation, Bruce tells Alfred that fighting Deadshot reminded him of that night in the alley. And even though sometimes it might seem pointless to roam the city at night, the loyal butler knows that Batman is destined for something much greater than anyone could imagine. Although I've mentioned before that Batman isn't necessarily one of my favorite characters, I admit this series of shorts is enjoyable, mainly because it reveals the human side of the Bat. To be honest, Batman, Gotham Knight is, in quotes, canon in Christopher Nolan's universe. Of course, you'll have to overlook some details, such as the different character designs. The helicopter, the Batmobiles he looks at in one of the shorts, even Michael Keaton's Batmobile was included as a tribute. And well, that agility to do backflips in the middle of a fight, those are also elements you only find in this animation. The movie tackles too many topics that feel unfinished due to its short runtime and are irrelevant to Nolan's saga. If you're a fan of this universe, I recommend this animation. You're going to like it. And if you ask me, I even consider it an underrated gem. It shows us a bit more of that franchise that at the time was a complete phenomenon in cinema. Join me Saturdays for live streams on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe and enable notifications to catch new videos early. For now, there's nothing more for me to say. I'll see you soon. My name is Alex for the NEGAYO channel.